This demonstration will show how a buffer system is made and how it operates. Here we have an acetic acid solution. To the acetic acid solution, we've added sodium acetate, the salt of acetic acid. When you have the weak acid and the salt of that weak acid, you've prepared a buffered solution. Here we have distilled water, which will serve as our control in this demonstration. We're going to add some universal indicator. We now will add a base solution, first to our distilled water, then to our buffer, and then to our acetic acid. We notice that the buffer has changed in accordance with the color chart of the universal indicator to a basic solution. Let's add another drop to each of our solutions, and another drop. Our control no longer changes, and so now we'll focus on the buffer, adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops, and to the acid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. Repeating the procedure. Beginning to notice a change in the acid that is not occurring in the buffer. Our acid is now changing from the acid range, moving toward the neutral. Into the orange. 5 more drops. We notice that the acid solution has already changed to the violet basic color. The buffer continues to be toward the neutral range. Let's add some additional base to just our buffer. Now we notice the buffer is moving into the green area toward the neutral. And finally into the basic. It requires a great deal more base to change a buffered solution than it did an acidic solution. Buffered solutions resist changes in pH.
Jim Karanikis here again at Tropical Fish World, teaching you about aquarium success. All right, let's talk a little bit about temperature and pH. A heater in an aquarium is in the tank to maintain a stable temperature. It's not there really to either heat it up really high, but just to maintain the temperature. So a good temperature range for an aquarium is 75 to 80 degrees. I would say in the summertime, because your ambient temperature in your house is warmer, you actually want to keep your aquarium a little bit warmer. So there's a little knob on top of the heater that you're going to turn it up and actually maintain the temperature closer to 78 or 80 degrees in the summer. During the winter, when your house is usually cooler, we want to take the knob on the top and turn it down a little bit and drop your temperature down between 73 and 75. Now, make sure that when you do change the temperature of your aquarium, you don't change it more than about 2 degrees a day would be maximum. Fish can get sick if they're chilled down too quickly. Another important factor in the aquarium is pH. Most fish can live in a pH of around 6.5 to 7.5. Now, there are some fish that come from different parts of the world that have a much higher pH than that, and we can talk about them later. But for the most part, most of your tropical fish are going to be around neutral, which is 7.0. Now, off the shelf, you can purchase a pH adjuster. It's a powder that you can just put in the aquarium, and it will maintain your pH right at 7.0. It's very easy to use, and it's great for beginners. However, in a planted aquarium like this tank, you may not want to use this because it has phosphates in it, and phosphates will grow algae. In that case, you would want to use either a product like this from Seachem that has an alkaline acid buffer. It's a phosphate-free buffer. It's a little bit more difficult to use, and I would recommend it only if you've had aquariums for a while, and I'd consider you more of an expert. Now, the thermometer in the aquarium can be placed either with a glass thermometer inside the aquarium like this, or we can use a liquid crystal thermometer that we would place on the outside of the tank. Let's go ahead and do that. Basically just peel off the back. It sits permanently in one spot. We just stick it on there, and within a few minutes it will light up a greenish color to whatever temperature it is. This one right now is probably between 78 and 80 degrees, which is perfect for these types of fish. All right, let's check the pH of the water. It's probably a good idea to get a small test kit that has your pH, ammonia, and nitrite. Those are the three basic things you want to check on a regular basis. I think about once a month if you check the pH, ammonia, and nitrite, and just monitor it, and I think you'll be in good shape. So what we would do is we take the vial, we'll put it in the aquarium, fill it up to the line, and then we're going to add 3 drops of the indicator in there. And then we're going to cap it because we don't want to use our finger on here because our finger can make it more acidic than what it is. We shake this up, and then we're going to put it against the color chart and see what the pH we have. So anywhere from 7.5 down to 6.5 is okay. But as you can see, our color, we're right about here in the middle, right at 7.0, so we're absolutely perfect.
In order to get a gauge of what the pH of your body is, you're going to test your urine first and your saliva second. But before I talk about how to test, I want to first talk about the testing device itself. You have 2 different options. You can use pH paper or litmus paper, or you can use pH test strips. Now, pH paper comes on rolls like this, kind of retro, and I don't recommend using it for a few reasons. First of all, it's just kind of hard and clunky to use. It's not the most accurate, but when you're testing your urine, you're going to want to try to pass this through your urine stream. Well, being paper, it can, tends to wilt, get droopy, and then when you get it wet, it bleeds. The reagent bleeds. And so now you're trying to match up a bleeding piece of paper to a chart. Not the easiest. pH strips, on the other hand, are a plastic strip with a reagent affixed to it. Very easy to pass through the urine stream, and when you get it wet, very easy to read. There's no bleeding and no mess. And you can find pH sticks at a health store. You can get them at PHI on Amazon, Yahoo, pretty much everywhere. Now, once you've tested your pH per the instructions in the packet, you're going to fall into one of 3 different zones. The optimal zone is right where you want to be. Okay? The acidic zone means that your fluids are about 10 times more acidic than they should be. You're going to want to correct this soon before you get even more acidic. And that's going to bring you into the very acidic zone. In this zone, your fluids are 100 times too acidic, possibly even more. If you're in this zone, you should strongly consider taking immediate action to correct your acidic state. And I always recommend to people who are very acidic to go on to the complete pH balancing program. One last thing about pH testing. I recommend that you do it daily and you do it often. Of course, in the morning, when you take that reading, it's very indicative of your body's overall pH. But it's also a good idea to see how you're metabolizing different meals. For example, if you eat a steak, you're going to want to test an hour or 2 after to see how your body's responding and if your body has the alkaline buffers to deal with the acid load.
Very dramatic version of the flame test demonstration here. First we have alcohol burning blue, then we have some barium chloride with the barium ions burning a dirty yellow color. Then we have boron being green, strontium giving us the crimson red color. Next is calcium giving us the orange. Not showing up very well here in the next one, but the red tints inside of that orange there's some impurities there. That is lithium. Next we have sodium, giving us a characteristic yellow flame. Then we have copper with its green color. And finally, potassium with the purple or lilac shade.